Hey there.
Hello, hello.
All right. So we are here, Mercedes and Quintaria. We're here for Money Making Mondays, where we are giving you 15 good, solid minutes of financial solutions, education, just the ins and outs of how to win financially. So today, what are we discussing, Mercedes?
Today we're going to talk about what to look for in partnerships, right? So
Oh,
I love this topic. I'm excited about it because we talk about partnerships all the time. So
yeah.
we're gonna give
And I
y'all
think
some
we make a
tips.
good partnership
We
too. So,
do. We do.
yeah, having more conversations about partnership will strengthen ours and allow us to share with our communities ways they can win too. So we're going to start off with a quote like we always do, and I'm pulling from an old African proverb that says, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together."
Yeah.
So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So we've got a couple points for you all. And Mercedes, you kick it off. What's point one? Like what to look for in a successful partnership? Why partnerships? Why partnerships?
That's a great question. So I always like to focus on impact because just like you said that, and that I haven't heard that proverb in so long, but it's
It's
become a
still
part
so
of me.
relevant.
Yes, it's become a
Hmm.
part of me. So I like to look at the impact that it'll have because you can go by yourself and yes, you can go fast because it's just you're controlling everything. But we're talking about actually withstanding for the long run. How do you reach more people?
Hmm.
How you get your message out, your solution out to the public? So I think about impact. And when I think about impact, Quintaria, I'm talking about like community solutions. How do we answer or provide a solution to the problem? And a lot of times with collaborations and partnerships, you can kind of address the root of it. I think sometimes it's not just kind of like putting a band-aid over it, saying, okay, this is a
Mm.
simple solution. Sometimes you got to get to the root of it so that we can create something that will last us for a lifetime where we're not going back into the same issues
And
again.
as you're speaking, I'm
Mhm.
just thinking the beautiful thing of what you're saying about collaboration for impact is you're already showing people that I figured out how to work with this person or
Yeah.
this organization. You know,
Hmm.
so if I figured out how to work with this person or this organization, there's a greater likelihood that I can partner with you and support your
Absolutely.
community to solve problems. Like I just wanted to make sure that we overstate the
Yes.
the beauty of what you're saying about the impact,
Yes.
and I don't think that sometimes we got to get to the root of it. If you really want to solve a problem, you got to get to the root. Otherwise, you're just like you said, it's just a surface solution and the problem will come back again, or you'll
Yeah.
be pouring, it's almost like if you got a hole in your roof and you just keep patching it or covering it or
Hmm.
until like handle that full thing, you'll
Yeah.
still have the issues at hand, and even more, you can even cause more damage by
Yeah.
not getting to the root of the problem.
I
Yeah.
agree. And also with that impact, it can also drive innovation, foster growth. So now you're opening up to where there are more ideas. There are more people who may not think like you, but maybe thinking maybe a little ahead of you,
Hmm.
or to the sideline of you. So it drives that growth opportunity when you work with other people and you get different perspectives. So once you find someone or a few people, to partner with to get your crusade off and what you guys are trying to do. You guys are going to be able to align your visions. You're going to pretty much clearly define who's going to do what. What are your roles in this, right? So
Because you're not alone, right?
you'll
You
have
got,
skin
yeah.
in the deal. You'll have skin in the deal. I love partnerships because it's like both partners have just as much to gain or just as much to lose. So it fosters that partnership and allows you guys to work together and move towards one vision by using your different strengths. So for
Yeah.
me, impact I think is super important.
Yeah. And I love impact. I think that in the grand scheme of things, that's why many cultures and communities have mastered partnerships
Mm-hmm.
because they work, right?
Yep.
Um, One thing I will say, because sometimes we have situations where partnerships are not as fruitful as they could be, or they're not as, it doesn't seem, you can't readily see the benefits. And for our second point, I'd like to really highlight picking a partnership where you are not in competition, direct competition with one another. So if I sell apple pies and I see someone who has delivery trucks, that could be an awesome partnership,
Oh yeah.
because the pies can get further, with a partnership or collaboration with a delivery truck, as
Yeah.
opposed to two apple pie makers, because let's just face it, businesses are humans, like
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
you scale back any business, behind that, like the Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain is a man, like running it all, and not man per se, but but no, our businesses scale down to humans.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
sometimes it can be very challenging for business owners who have put their blood, sweat, and tears. Our businesses are our babies. I'm sure you
Yeah.
can identify
Yeah.
with that as being a business owner. Sometimes it is far more difficult for two apple pie bakers to decide on, okay, so how much cinnamon you use. I don't use that much. I use more nutmeg,
Yeah.
all of that, as opposed to the apple pie baker just being the apple pie baker. And we
Yeah.
negotiate a partnership with the delivery truck business so that we both can scale. Like
Mm-hmm.
the truck needs to get things to places, and the person who bakes the apple pies wants to get their apple pies out to more people. So I just want to say that with shared collaboration, where and going back to even how you said with impact, it's showing that you have figured out, you have the business acumen to work with another company or organization so that you both grow. So
Absolutely.
I see a lot in our community that could be benefited by proper partnerships, by
Yeah.
effective
I,
partnerships.
I
Yeah,
want
no,
to give you an example. I was out last week and I went into a Sharks. I don't know if you ever been into a Sharks. I guess it's like a seafood restaurant or
uh-huh.
something. But what they did is really cool. They actually brought in a local vendor where they sell their desserts. And so it was a local, now this local vendor has a space in this Sharks restaurant business that doesn't compete. It actually complements because they sell the food, the entree, and then the dessert is provided by the local vendor. And I thought that was really cool. And it goes
That's a
right along with what
beautiful,
you were
beautiful
saying.
example. Yes,
Yes.
Mercedes, that's a beautiful example for it. Now, if you are a little more well versed or more comfortable with
Mhm.
partnerships and all of that, and you can, like two pie companies, that's more like perhaps merger and acquisition, which I do, So I love that, but I
Yeah.
definitely see where partnerships can start to fall apart before they even start, when they
Mhm.
don't think, you broaden their thoughts and think, okay, I sell dinner,
Mhm.
because you're both winning, you're both
Exactly.
growing, you're both capitalizing off the exposures of others, of other parties. Like when we do things together, you're tapping into my audience that you may or may not have access to, and vice
Mhm.
versa. So the topic for today is what to look for in effective and in partnerships. I
Mhm.
think one thing is like-minded individuals too. I
Yeah,
know this is outside of,
for
like
sure. Yeah.
of our topic, but finding business owners that value partnership or seeking to value partnership, because many in our community just haven't had the opportunity to
Mhm.
participate in partnerships or see,
Mhm.
that we're disadvantaged. I had to write a grant last night, and we were going over, it was for disadvantage, and someone that I was working with was like, let's just look up disadvantage. Everybody's assuming we know what disadvantage means, but it pointed out so many things about lack of resources,
Mm,
typically underestimated. And in our community, many business owners are disadvantaged. So it may not be that they are opposed to partnerships, they just haven't had an opportunity. So going back to my point of finding like-minded or people that are
yeah,
open to partnerships, they may not have mastered it yet, but
yeah,
as long as they are saying, hey, I don't claim to know how this works fully, but I'm open to win, and I'm open to setting, boundaries and expectations and seeing how this can work. I
yeah.
think impact and the collaboration when you work with non-competing or things that don't directly compete, I think that partnerships could be a winning solution for our community.
Absolutely. Some of the most successful businesses were built off of partnerships.
Oh yeah.
Jordan, Nike, Apple, Spotify, or Apple and MasterCard. Just some of the biggest successful businesses are built off of partnerships.
Most businesses are
Before.
conglomerates, which
Ex-
are partnerships. Like,
ex-
don't get it
yeah,
twisted,
yeah.
Don't
And
get,
it just goes
yeah,
right back to your proverb that you talked about. It's guys with a partner, with a team, you can go so much further. You can reach so many more people. So
yeah,
I love this topic. I think we gave you guys a couple things to think about when we're thinking about what to look for in a partnership, and do some vetting. Definitely do some vetting.
yeah.
No,
Like,
you
don't
should know
blame
who
us for
you're
that.
working with. By the time you get to that, okay, let's get to it. Let's do it. You should already know what they offer, which what each of you bring to the table, and how you guys can create that impact in the community, and what you guys are standing to gain from that collaboration.
Yeah, because as we have said so many times, business ownership and just successfully bringing something to our community, you need to solve a problem.
For sure.
So
For sure.
solving a problem amongst business owners, i.e., partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
allows you to solve greater problems for the community.
Exactly.
So we're a solution driven platform. Like, how can someone who heard this and was like, yeah, all that's good, but how do I connect? Like, where do I go next? What's the next steps? Like, what do we have for that person that's wondering out? Because we don't want to leave anybody lost. That ain't our goal. Not on
Exactly.
Money Making Mondays. We
Exactly.
want you to get knowledge and information and take it and implement it and win.
Yep. Absolutely. So, I mean, guys, listen, you know what to do. First of all, you can hit the link in our bios. Absolutely do a 15-minute consultation with us. We work on the financial side, putting in financial strategies. As you know, we help you with the planning and putting it together, so you're not alone. We make it simple so that you can understand how to create a strong financial foundation while you're building your businesses, your partnerships, and we also provide the funding opportunities for that. Split buy sell agreements, we fund those. When you have partnerships, you guys might not know about that one yet, but we'll talk about it. Get on the
Mhm.
15-minute consultation. We'll talk about how to get you started. First, we need to know, what are your goals, what are you trying to achieve. But talk to one of
No,
us.
first they need to know. First,
They
you
need to
need to
know,
know, right? Have some type of idea. And and and,
and we
and
can help
just
guide
like Mercedes said,
you.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
We definitely, Mercedes, thank you for our partnership.
yeah,
You all,
yeah,
thank you for taking 15 minutes out of your day. Be it if you're watching us live or you caught this recording later. We just want to give good content,
yeah,
so that we are all growing and expanding. And like Mercedes said, adding value to our communities. I think
absolutely.
we've done a great job of adding value today. So
Yes,
I'm ready to sign off. I'm not sure about you, Mercedes, but I'm
I'm good.
satisfied with our topic today.
Awesome. Guys, implement, implement, implement. All right. And be great. Happy Money Making Mondays.
Happy Money
Bye,
Making
guys. Thank you,
Mondays. Bye,
Victoria.
everyone.